The Tyger by William Blake. The Tyger is one of the most impressive and best known lyrics by the 18th century poet William Blake. It is from his collection Songs of Experience. The poem has been variously interpreted. Some interpret it as showing the two contrary states of the human soul. Others see to it as the struggle between the strong and the weak, as symbolized by the tiger and the lamb respectively. Still others see the unlashing of the destructive forces on the world and the danger lurking for the innocent and the good. I am here trying to give a simple analysis of the poem, especially for those who study English as a second language and opt for English literature as one of the optional subjects. They do not have any knowledge of the influences that formed a writer and cannot refer each image to its symbolic context. Therefore, a simple reading and understanding of the poem becomes necessary so that the students do not lose their interest. I have already shared with you the fact that William Blake illustrated his works himself. And here again you can see the pictures of both the cover of the book and the poem, which are both illustrated by the poet himself. Now, before we do an analysis of the poem, let us first read the poem once again. Tiger, tiger burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What dead grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? A short poem appears to be simple, but has a lot of depth in it. The poem is titled The Tyger. So it is easy to assume that the poet is talking about the animal, the tiger. He is describing the tiger in the poem. But is that really so? But before we talk about this question, let us talk about a few other things. When we think of a tiger, what image comes to our mind? Yes, it is easy to imagine a wild, powerful, terrifying, ruthless predator. Yes, You must have all seen either a live tiger or a tiger in a zoo or a tiger in a picture, you know, and if you have visited a reserve, you must have seen a tiger roaming in the wild. Now, would you dare to go very close to the tiger? Absolutely not. Yes, the answer is no. Nobody would dare to go near a tiger. The very thought fills us with dread, with fear. Even when you go and visit a tiger reserve, how do you go inside the forest? It is by a jeep or a canter that you are taken inside the reserve. And you are cautioned not to step down the jeep or the canter. Yes? And let me here also tell you that this powerful predator generally hunts alone and waits until dark to hunt. The poet too, at the very beginning of the poem says, "Tiger, tiger burning bright in the forests of the night." Yes, so he is here emphasizing the bright burning eyes of the tiger, and the fact that yes, the tiger is very strong, he's very agile, alert, sharp and skillful. All these characteristics of the tiger come out very clearly as the poet describes the animal. The poet also talks about the fearful symmetry in the very first stanza. And it is true that the tiger's stripes are special to each individual. That is, no two tigers have the same stripes. They are all unique. So, the animal described in the poem is one which you at once fear and marvel. He's frightening, he's terrifying, savage, wild, but at the same time magnificent, splendid, impressive, majestic, powerful, almost the quality of being indestructible. The tiger of the poem is the symbol of all that is savage and awe-inspiring. The poet appears perplexed that the same creator who made the lamb, the gentlest, harmless, and most lovable of creatures, also made the tiger in all its terrifying beauty and strength. The tiger's ferocious, bright eyes, burning like live coals in the dark forest at night, refer not just to the intensity of the tiger's gaze, but vividly bring out the burning ferocity, brilliance, and destructiveness of the tiger. The poet is awed by the fearful beauty of the tiger. And the words fearful symmetry emphasize both the terrifying yet graceful and perfectly well proportioned body of the tiger. Although the poem is titled The Tiger, yet it is more about the maker of the tiger than it is about the tiger itself. The poem reverberates with unanswered questions, which show that the poet is grappling to understand the mind and mystery of God's handiwork. Who created this magnificent beast? From where and how was the fire that burns in the tiger's eyes brought? From the deeps or the skies? The poet wonders at the strength, the force, and the craftsmanship that went into the tiger's creation, and then questions again. And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? That is, after creating such a terrifying animal, who could stand before it and shape it further? In the next stanza, God is compared to a blacksmith grasping a strong hammer in his hand with a piece of hot iron on the anvil, giving the desired shape to the tiger's brain, where savage scheming goes on. And the poet again wonders as to what kind of tool, hammer, did God use to design, to shape the tiger? How did the maker muster courage to grasp this powerful and destructive creature? The whole picture of the tiger, designed in a blacksmith's workshop through heat and hammer, emphasizes the hard-heartedness that was hammered into its being. It was necessary for a beast of prey to have this hard-heartedness towards the creature it must kill to survive. These three stanzas suggest that no ordinary creator could have gathered together and shaped so frightening a creature. The fire for its eyes had to be brought from some distant underworld or heavenly region. Its heart could have been molded and shaped only by a creator more powerful, fearful, and conniving than itself. It could have been designed only by a supernatural, skillful, and powerful smith with magical tools in a fabulous workshop. The next stanza. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? In these lines, the poet compares the stars to spearmen. Spearmen? Fighters armed with spears, who hid their faces with terror on the newly created fierce animal, the tiger, as if they were sorry for man. These lines suggest the terror that possessed nature at the creation of so fearful a creature as the tiger. The image of the stars weeping and throwing down their spears like a defeated army surrendering to a powerful enemy express their defeat and grief. And the poet wonders whether the creator of this animal rejoiced to see his new creation. He says, did he smile his work to see? The poet is bewildered and finds himself incapable of understanding that how could the maker who created the lamb, the symbol of innocence, love, and tender feeling, also create this wild, strong, and destructive animal. The closing lines, "Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry?" These lines repeat the central question of the poem stated in stanza 1. However, the poet changes could in line 4 to dare in line 24. This is a significant change, as the poet is no longer asking who had the capability of creating the tiger, but who dared to create such a frightful creature, suggesting that it was a daring act even on the part of the creator of the tiger. David Deutschers, a critic, calls the tiger the most impressive of Blake's poems, and also mentions the unusual spelling Tyger, which he calls worth retaining, for it seems to emphasize the symbolic quality of the animal. He further says, "The power and intensity of this short poem, achieved both by the imagery and by the way the beat of the line is handled at each point, are overwhelming." And again, there is an immediate poetic meaning communicated even to those who cannot refer each image to its symbolic context. There is both beauty and terror in the elemental forces of nature. As I've already mentioned, that the poem is more about the creator of the tiger than it is about the tiger itself. In contemplating the terrible ferocity and fearful symmetry of the tiger, the speaker is at a loss to explain how the same maker who made the lamb could make the savage, ruthless, scheming tiger. And the number of unanswered questions in the poem tell that human beings are incapable of fully understanding the mind of God and the mystery of His handiwork. The poem thus explores the contraries of beauty and terror, and also sets up a contrast between the world of compelling but frightening power and the world of the gentle lamb. It appears to be, but is not a simplistic poem, as it yields many interpretations. The Tiger is Blake's literary masterpiece and has been scrutinized from literal and metaphorical point of views as he revisits his preferred dilemmas of innocence versus experience. Blake makes many references to Greek and Roman mythology. He uses a number of literary devices as well in the poem, but I will not get into that detail here and share a few articles about the same and also the literary devices used and comment on the style, structure and form of the poem on the group. So that's it for today. Good day.